You're watching Leafs Morning Take with host Nick Alberga and former NHLer Jay Rosehill. The show starts now.
Sam Bennett is a scumbag. Presented by Bet365, it's Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill on location here at Greta Bar YYZ, presented by Bet365, the Tuesday edition of Leafs Morning Take. What's going on, Rosie? This is weird, man, being a person.
Choice words.
It's a scumbag.
It is a little. We're pretty close here. We're usually across the country. But what a game, man. I am a good, happy man this morning. That was as much as I could have asked for, to be honest.
As I put out on social media last night, I hate Sam Bennett right now. I'll love him on July 1. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But a lot that, you know what's crazy? So I woke up today, and I like the fact, and I love the value that Zach's show brings to the table because you get immediate reaction. I like that I can decompress, right? And you can dissect after the matter and really take in what we saw. But, man, so much happened last night.
I like that it's fresh, too. There was so much to go over last night. We got after. I don't know how long we went last night. Probably hour and 15. Usually I just pop on for a quick 15, 20-minute hitter. But there was so much to cover. And, I mean, we said in the pregame show, I don't know what to expect. I have so much anticipation for the puck drop and just to see what everything looks like. And, I mean, the Maple Leafs came out and just made a statement that we can hang with these guys and we can succeed and exceed what they do. They were playing Florida Panther hockey, and they beat them at it, man. It was phenomenal.
Pretty impressive stuff by the Maple Leafs last night to grab the 1-0 series lead. Should mention as well our Super Chat charity partner this season is Sick Kids. Want to make sure that your question or comment gets on the show. Hit us up with a Super Chat. Proceeds from our Super Chat will go to Sick Kids, ranked the #1 research-intensive children's hospital in Canada and third in the world in support of Sick Kids. Michael Dix, one of our favorites in the chat, sends this Super Chat. Jay, suit up and make him pay.
I wonder what I'd have left in the tank. I don't know. This league's pretty soft these days. I would love to go do that, but I just don't know if the distraction on this thing is going to affect the Leafs negatively, and I think Craig Berube is probably going to get a handle on it.
Well, it's funny you say that because that's all I could think about waking up today is nobody's talking about the Florida Panthers losing Game 1. We're talking about Anthony Stolarz. We're talking about Sam Bennett. And do you think that benefits Florida?
Yeah, I do. I think, you know, the whole narrative around that game should have been the way the Leafs came out, the lack of response. Not even the lack of response from the Panthers because they did respond, but then the Leafs just poured it on top again. Like they led that game for 59 minutes. They were more physical. They out-hit them. I thought they out-competed them. They outscored them. And there's still lots of room, as we'll cover, to improve on that game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And that's the storyline to me. Of course, the Sam Bennett bullshit and the Stoli thing overshadows everything else. But I think the lead needs to be the play of the Toronto Maple Leafs to start off Game 1.
So, again, if you're just tuning in, we got word about, 45 minutes ago, and not a surprise, at least to either of us, but no supplementary discipline for Sam Bennett. You're not shocked. I mean, you've been saying it since the play happened. You didn't expect anything from Sam Bennett, and he gets off scot-free yet again, the 18th time in his career.
Yeah, I mean, listen, what happened to Stoli, if it was in fact that play, we're watching the replay right now, he takes that bullet right to the face in the first couple of minutes of the game and knocks his mask off. I know how much that can rattle a goaltender's head. I think that had something to do with it. And when I watch the play, I understand it's Sam Bennett. I understand you're looking at your starting goaltender, throwing up on the bench and hearing him leave on a stretcher going to the hospital. I understand all that, but none of that is indicative of the play that happened from Sam Bennett. Think what you want of Sam Bennett. I would love for him to get suspended as much as anybody, but if you watch the play from every single angle, he's driving to the net with the puck, through the blue paint a bit, yep. Bumps into Stoli a bit, yep. Was that violent? Was that crazy aggressive? Did he throw his elbow out? Did he jar down on his neck? No, no, and no. He's taking the puck to the net. Did he mean to bump him? Sure. Is he Sam Bennett? Is he a rat? Is he trying to get in Stoli's kitchen? Of course. But that's not indicative of a playoff suspension, what he did. And I tweeted last night that just because the aftermath was what Stoli was going through doesn't mean that you got to go back. If you trip a guy and it's a 2-minute minor and he tears his groin, do you go back and suspend the guy? No, it's a 2-minute minor is what that was. And the ref was right there and didn't even think it was that. So I'm not surprised at all he didn't get suspended. I know I'm in the minority on Leafs Nation there, but I watched the play a million times, and it is fairly harmless. Like, the effect on Stoli was an absolute anomaly, which it's brutal, but it's not a suspendable offense. I'm sorry, Leafs Nation.
I think the bigger issue is the track record with Sam Bennett. And I know you can't discipline based on track record, but we're dating back to even 2023. Took Matthew Knies into that series in the second round. The sucker punch on his teammate Brad Marchand. Now this, at some point in time, I think a message has to be sent to this guy. And I think, credit to him. He plays on that line. He's always tiptoeing on that line. I thought that was the perfect accidental on purpose, but I think that's honestly how Leafs Nation is viewing that today. Because I tend to concur. I mean, I watched it over and over again. I mean, was it, malicious? Who knows? Was his suspension worthy? No. I mean, that's the problem with the whole thing, too.
Well, when you're the league, I mean, you can't just say, oh, I really hate Sam Bennett, and he's done a bunch of greasy shit in the past, so we're going to suspend him. You have to pull out the video and explain, according to the rule book, why you're suspending this top player in the playoffs, and you cannot do that with that video. I understand that if there is a suspendable offense, then you take the past into consideration, then you take the injury into consideration, but you can't even get there with that play because it's so non-violent and almost harmless in any other situation. If it was the Pontus Holmberg hit that was an elbow to the head and he's throwing up on the bench and leaves in a stretcher, we're talking about mega, but it wasn't violent. He bumped into the goalie, guys.
Yeah. No, that's well put. I was just thinking about your boy Pontus, man.
Pontus,
yeah,
yes.
He got one last night.
He popped up like nothing, man. I love that. I don't care if you get train wrecked like that. You pop up and their team's like, God, like that doesn't even do anything. That's why I hate when guys lay on the ice these days and look up at the scoreboard. Am I on the Jumbotron? Yes, I am. I'm going to take my helmet off.
The kiss cam.
I'm not really comfortable here. I'm going to lay back down again. Where's the trainer at anyways? Oh, my God. It makes you look like garbage. It slows the game down. It makes the other team have all the momentum and say, look at that bitch laying there. Like, let's keep doing that to them all night long. Obviously, they don't like it. Pontus pops up before the Florida Panther guy even pops up, and it's a nothing play. Unbelievable for how big that hit was.
And that showed commitment to just going to the dirty areas. Sometimes you're in the trolley tracks, you got to take it on the chin, and our guy Pontus stepped right back up.
Honestly, that's why when I took it to the net, I just gripped that thing so hard. I don't know. I fucking think my tunnel vision was about this far in front of me, and I couldn't tell who was coming. I just was bracing for impact all the time. That turns your hands to stone. That's my excuse anyways.
I like it. In support of Sick Kids, Megan Walker, thank you so much for the super chat. Happy for the win, but why can't we have nice things? Finally have a hot, reliable goalie, and they get taken out. How are you guys feeling about Woll? Man, he did not look comfortable last night, and all I could think about was producer Vic watching him last night.
Well, how could he look comfortable? I mean, I don't think there's a shittier situation to go in for a goalie, and we can ask Carter Hutton about that down the road, as he's got lots of experience in the position. But I do know one thing. Goalies like their preparation. Goalies like their routine. Goalies like everything just so. And to get thrown into that game completely cold with the situation they were in is probably a nightmare scenario for Joseph Woll. So I'm not going to critique his play until I see him play a full prepared 60, and then we can talk about where he is. But this is one of the reasons I didn't want to go to Woll when people were saying we should go to Woll instead of Stoli, which I think is absolutely nuts. But we don't know what to expect from Woll. We have no idea. We haven't seen him in quite a while. And yes, he's a great goaltender, but you're just rolling the dice saying, I wonder if he'll have his game right now. And there's no reason to believe one way or the other. You're literally just rolling the dice. So, again, I'm not going to critique his play because it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But, again, he didn't get an opportunity to be prepared for that situation. And, sometimes goalies go in and they play great. But when they don't, I think you got to give him a little bit of leeway and see what he can do if he, in fact, plays game 2.
I know we were celebrating here at Greta Bar every time we made a stop early on. Like, just make a save, because I think a lot of us here at the bar were just hoping that maybe Stoli had the shit or something, but clearly that was not the case, as we saw him puke after the matter.
I don't know, man. Like, I was thinking of all kinds of different scenarios because it was far too long down the road after the Bennett, incident. To say that it was going to be a spotter for concussion protocol. You're thinking back to the Luongo days where he's got to take a dump in the intermission and they throw their backup in. I thought once we saw him puking, I was like, does he have the flu? And it just came on, and all of a sudden, maybe after warm-up, he's like, how the flu just comes on? You're like, holy shit, am I sick or what? That can happen, like after warm-up, and all of a sudden, first, second period, it's like, I'm puking, I'm shitting, I can't play. Thought it might be that, and then you hear the news after the game. And that's devastating to hear. But again, I'm not going to assume anything For all we know, he got checked out and he's fine, and he just had some blurred. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate, but he may be ready to go in game 2. I don't know. I obviously doubt it.
Yeah.
But I'm not guaranteeing that this is like a series-ending deal for Stoli. We have no idea.
Let's call a spade. Stick taps to our very own Jay Rosehill, first on the scene, and maybe not the thing you want to be first on the scene to, but the first to put out that Anthony Stolarz left the building on a stretcher. From what we're told, by the way, he geared down after the game, then got on the stretcher, and it sounds like today that he's been released from hospital, which is great news too.
Yeah, again, nothing about it looks good, but I'm not going to speculate. We did hear, that was rough news. It was rough news to hear him leave, rough news to hear he wasn't coming back, and probably the worst news was to leave on a stretcher. I don't know if that was just kind of
precautionary.
I don't like anything about it, but it's nice to hear he's left the hospital at least. I can't. It's just odd. You don't see anything in the game that would warrant that kind of response to be that down and out, to be thrown up and getting stretchered out and be in the hospital. That's crazy, but the brain is a weird thing, and it reacts in weird ways, and obviously he wasn't feeling right. This
is the part of the adversity angle moving forward. And the great news from the Maple Leafs perspective, they won the first game. They're 3 wins away from going to the conference final, right? So that's half empty, half full type approach. I know you lose your number one goaltender. You find a way to win that game. Joseph Woll, this is why we think we have a 1-2 punch in between the pipes this season. So something to monitor, certainly moving forward in this season and in this series. Of course, we're here at Greta Bar YYZ. What'd you think last night, man? This place was buzzing, dude.
It is, man. This place is unbelievable. Yeah. We're down here, and we got the keys to the place, so we opened it up ourselves, and it's just nice to have a place, such a convenient location that's obviously pretty centered on having a good time, games, relaxing, getting out of the day-to-day stress, and watching a hockey game is a great place here, so we're pretty looking forward to Wednesday night and doing it all over again.
We've developed a nice little crew on location here, and the majority of the crew are wearing the Now We Go Nation Gear t-shirts, so we continue to evolve that way. We're on fire. Nick Bobo, 2-0. I put out the meme last week of 19-year-old me at a keg party in London, Ontario.
I don't know if anyone even knows that's you, man.
I was a big dog, eh?
Your pics from back in the day are something else.
Dude, I used to wear those fight necklaces because I was a baseball player, and I used to rock fight necklaces everywhere. I had 15 of them and wear them to parties.
What are they?
They're like the necklaces. I'll show you the picture right now. Nobody can see it on my screen. But
what MLB guys wear?
They used to wear it. It's like this thing right here.
Oh, God.
We used to wear them back in the day, and nobody wears them anymore. But it brings back memories. We're 2-0.
Back. I love it. More Nick Bobo for me, if that's what it's bringing us.
Thank you. 2-0, baby. At the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Leafs Morning Take wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. Let's get to another super chat in support of Sick Kids. Wayne, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go, Big Joe. This is why we have 2 starters. I like that.
It's true, man.
Good outlook.
When he went in, I'm thinking, at least it's Joseph Woll, right? That's been the whole thing. How nice is it to have 2? When you have one stud, you're just sitting there going, if he goes down, we're probably toast. And that's not the case for the Leafs this year. And it hasn't been since day one, which has been an absolute luxury.
Meantime, Rory Collins, thank you so much for the super chat. Do you think anyone in the Leafs responds with a fight? If so, who? Domi, maybe. And it's perfect. Jay Rosehill's my co-host for this question. What would you do, Rosie?
Oh, I'd get in his ear, and I would make his life hell. But listen, people are talking about dressing Ryan Reeves and things like this. If that were to happen, as soon as his name is on the card, Paul Maurice is going to say, listen up, guys. They've got their enforcer out here, apparently. He hasn't played in 3 months. He's going to be running around and asking everyone and their dog to fight. Absolutely say no. Let him take the 5-minute major, and we're going to score twice on the power play. It's pretty simple. That's not an option. This isn't 1985, unfortunately, but that's not an option. But the players that are there, yes, a Domi, yes, a Benoit. I don't want McCabe or Tanev doing that kind of thing, but say a Lorentz. I know he's not phenomenal at scrapping. We've seen him step up before and didn't look like he was too comfortable. But if anyone gets the opportunity to get in kind of a shoving match or a scrum, spring load those gloves and start feeding that prick his lunch and take the coincidentals, move on, and send a message that we don't take that shit lightly. Same thing to anyone else out there. To Chuck's going after Marner at the end of the game, with a little slew foot, then a cross check. It's okay, buddy, nice shtick, right? That's literally what they were down to, is resorting to that kind of shit. And I just think the Leafs are in a better place to handle that than they ever have before, and it shows just frustration on their part.
Never really said this before, but the Panthers have the refs in their pocket. I witnessed the most egregious penalty call of all time in all my 15 years of covering the NHL. What the fuck was that call on Max Domi last night?
He literally
blew on
just
him.
comes up and just bumps into him with his stick down at his waist, and it's like of all the shit you're gonna see in the playoffs, that puts your hand up.
That was wild, dude.
I know that the game's called softer than it ever was. I know that you're protecting players. I know that you don't want the lawyers and the lawsuits to get involved with the injuries and the should have protected your players and Gary Bettman and all the owners. I get all that stuff, and that's why the game has gone down the road that it's at right now. But you have to be more consistent. You have to know that there is a line and it's there all year, and then the line gets pushed a little bit for the playoffs and you let a little bit more go, but there's still a line, and when you cross it, you get the penalty. And now I don't know where that line is. It's about this fat, and sometimes you're kind of in it and you're not, and then you don't, and then someone think crossed it, but nothing happens. Then a guy blows on a guy like Domi last night, and the arm goes up for the first penalty of the night. That blew my mind. It's honestly one of the worst calls I've seen in the playoff history, maybe.
You're right. We're not exaggerating.
Nothing burger, an absolute nothing burger.
Explain to me how Domi gets 2 minutes there and Sam Bennett just goes back to the bench. That's my concern is the officiating and just.
It's just consistency, man. Like, what are you allowed to do? And this is the playoffs. And how are you supposed to play if Domi goes in the first period, goes nose to nose to a guy with his kind of arms at his waist, and he gets a cross-checking penalty? It's wild, and that is my problem. You just have to be more consistent with the calls, man. I don't mind if you call it a little tighter than you used to. I get it, but it can't be wildly variable like it has been.
And to me, it's the culprit too. Like, much similar to Sam Bennett, they have another guy named Brad Marchand. Just the leniency with this guy throughout his career. I know I love him. He's Canadian and he's always great for Team Canada, but we've hated him for so many years as a Boston Bruin. How do you call that penalty when it's on Brad Marchand, who like literally licked a guy in his career? Like, it's insanity to me. I couldn't believe my eyes that I was watching Game 1 of Round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and they're calling that bullshit when it's two of the more physical teams in the NHL in Florida and Toronto. Insanity.
Yeah, you got to be prepared. I don't know, man. Sometimes I wish you'd give the referees an opportunity to explain themselves. Yeah. And on the Ekblad, who they were missing last night, who they're going to get back on Wednesday. Yeah. That suspension on Hagel in the previous series was just this blatant forearm shiver to the neck and buries the guy and ends his who knows how long he'd be out for if they made it to the second round. But it's right in front of the ref, and I think that if you got to ask the ref what he said, I think the timing of Marchand coming right in front, you just missed it. And it's easy to have a bird's eye view and 3 different angles and to say, what the hell are you looking at? Well, he's on ice level with 6'4" and 5 and 6 hockey players, and shit's going in front of their field of view, and they miss things. But then other times it's like, this is absolutely unexplainable, and it just needs to be more consistent.
Wild shit. At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I can't believe we're 20 minutes into the show live here at Greta Bar YYZ 590 King Street West, and we haven't discussed the fact that the Maple Leafs won a fucking hockey game, dude. What an effort! What a start! Willie Nylander, the story of the night, just the way he came out there in the first period.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it going into Game 6 of the last series. Like, one of these guys that is a goal scorer needs to score some goals, and some big ones and some clutch ones. And it was Willie Nylander then, and it was Willie Nylander this time as well. I didn't know what to expect with the pace of play and who was going to be in control and who was going to relinquish the momentum out of the gates. And I mean, we'd hardly sat down and Willie buries. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, wow, like, what an opportunity to gain control here and get some momentum and let everyone know that, hey, we're going to be in this series. And then bang, he gets another one. And I kept saying on the After Dark show last night that they went up 3-1. It felt like they did, but it was because inevitably, they're going to score back and they're going to have some pushback. They are the Florida Panthers. Each time the Florida Panthers, responded to what the Leafs were doing, boom, within a couple of shifts, they respond right back, and they just won't let them pile it on. It happened several times throughout the game. That was my favorite part, is the way that they were able to respond when the Florida Panthers gave some pushback. Yeah,
that was the biggest theme for me, is response. The 2 biggest goals, in my opinion, in that game, Morgan Rielly, I think the 3-1 goal, and your boy Matthew Knies, what a fucking tuck. So I put out a video. Can we relive that face you made when Knies scored? Can you do it on camera for us?
I don't remember it.
I think you licked your lips. Yeah, there you go. It was like maybe. That. It was one of those, dude.
I love everything, man.
Dude, we were horny. We were horny here at Greta Bar. It wasn't just the nachos. But, dude, what a play. I don't know what it is about this kid. He has that clutch factor, man. Every time they need a big goal or a big moment, it seems to be a 22-year-old kid, man. It makes no sense, but it's insane to me.
He's got the stuff, man. I mean, they're relying on him heavily. Where would they be without that guy? I don't know. Who would be playing with Marner and Matthews? I don't know. Who would get some of those clutch goals down the stretch here to finish a regular season and into the playoffs here and into the second round now against a juggernaut like the Florida Panthers? I don't know where we'd be, but Matthew Knies is a menace, and it's not just that he does the power forward things. It's that he's a power forward with that much skill, that much vision. He can find Austin and find Mitch and dig out those pucks and bury when he gets the chances. He is multifaceted. I don't know. I sound like a clown because I'm tugging this guy so hard, but I just can't say enough about what he brings to this hockey club.
Yeah, I got to give you props. I mean, you called it from day one. You just said this kid is cut from a different cloth, and it started in that cup or that postseason against Tampa, and it just continued. Like, it just seems like every time they need that massive goal, it happened in round one. It's happening here against the Florida Panthers. It seems to be Matthew Knies, and it's interesting to me where I think in recent memory these guys jam up when it's a pressure cooker moment. He like evolves and he gets better. Like the goal against Ottawa. The goal last night, the poise to go top titty like that. Like, you can't teach that. I think you either have it or you don't, and Knies has it.
He just, like, when the moment gets tough, instead of clamming up, he bears down, and he elevates his game, and he furrows his brow and says, watch this. He just tries harder when the going gets tough.
Yeah.
And I can't say that about everyone in this club. I think it's plagued them. I think they have historically gone into a little bit of a shell when the going gets tough. And, I mean, they have so many weapons on this team. Willie is stepping up. Knies is stepping up. Can you imagine if Austin was stepping up and Mitch Marner was stepping up in the ways that they're capable according to their status in this league? I mean, can you imagine that many guys firing bullets in clutch time? We need it. We can't just have Matthew Knies carrying the load. He's 20-some years old. We can't have Willie Nylander doing it every single night. I need Matthews to have that clutch goal. Matthew Knies goes in and puts Jones on his ass, digs the puck out, and spots it to an Austin Matthews just walking down Broadway. I mean, that's a shot that Austin Matthews, like, that's what you're tailor-made for. That's what your role is. That's what makes you a superstar, and that's why people are calling you the greatest goal scorer in the world right now. You have to fucking be that guy. Now, everyone keeps waiting for him to pop off. I don't care if you're hurt. You walk on that thing, you could have a cast on your arm. You have to get that on net, and he keeps wrapping the glass and missing the net, and it's going to catch up with this team if he doesn't get some clutch factor going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, they're not going to say anything, but there's no way this guy is remotely close to 100%. Like, he's missing empty netters by like 3 feet. Like, he scored 69 times last year with precision. Now he's missing shit like that. Like, it's concerning because I think you're right. It's going to catch up to you. Every night can't be Matthew Knies, can't be John Tavares. They just need the other guys to pull their weight across the roster. I thought Bob McMahon was much better last night, but still an 18-game goalless drought. But you're going to need those depth guys. I think a big story, too, is the blue line. Like, I can't make enough of the way they played last night again, but more so offensively. Like, you go from the worst offensive blue line in the regular season to the best in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Mind you, 7 games in, but they got 7 goals here, Rosie.
Yeah, it's unreal. I mean, that was a stat that kind of came out, I don't know, after Christmas maybe, that these guys just do not contribute offensively. You know, the McCabe's and the Tanevs and stuff, that's fine. They're kind of made to do other things. You'd hope they chip in here and there, and that's a bonus. But you'd think, like, you know, the OELs, and you'd think Carlo would jump in here, and Morgan Riley, like, for a guy who's been an all-star, you need him to step up here and there. And in the playoffs, they have absolutely done that. And you're getting the chip-ins from the Tanevs, like last night, and the OELs, and these guys just have some kind of a confidence, I guess, to put it on net. OEL to jump down. He's got the poise and the ability to take a dish like that in Game 6, I think it was, from William Nylander, and to bury from, you know, when he gets an opportunity down low. That's tough for a defenseman sometimes to be put in that position. They're not used to it, but they've got the weapons to do it. And why they weren't in the regular season, I don't know, and I don't care, but I love what I'm seeing here in the playoffs.
A couple super chats to get to in support of Sick Kids. Willie on crack, thank you so much for these super chat. Bennett can suck the left side of my sack. Leafs in 6. Your thoughts?
That's not okay for morning for morning podcasts.
Oh, yeah, sorry. We went over this last night. I can't
Children.
swear because kids watch this. They should be in school, but they're watching the show. KPG, thank you so much for the super chat. At Scotia, I saw a different bird's eye angle from left of net, not shown on TV. Elbow was forceful, extended, and looked intentional. The NHL disagrees, KPG.
KPG, I love you, man, but it wasn't extended. It was right here, and it did not move, and he bumped into him. It was he glided into him. He glided into him. That's all I can say. Like, I realize what you want. I realize how passionate you are about the Leafs.
I get it.
I realize how pissed you are about Stoli. But that doesn't change the fucking action that we can all see. It wasn't violent. It wasn't forceful.
Yeah.
It wasn't indicative of the injury that it may or may not have produced. That's just the end of the story. And
Still a scumbag, though.
of course.
Yeah, still a
and that
scumbag.
that doesn't change what we can all see in that action. He's taking the puck to the net and glides through the goalie. That's not a playoff suspension for a top performer. The league would have looked at it and said, absolutely not. How do you put that on the screen and break it down and say this is, according to the rule book, a suspension? It's just not. I'm sorry. As much as you want it to be, it's not.
And again, for me, it's the inconsistency. And Nichols City Grunge puts it perfectly. If you call the Domi one, you got to call that one. Sorry. Like, it's true. I mean, that's, I think, where the anger stems.
Right there, we're watching the replay, and before the Knies goal, which was
What a pass
absolutely
by Mitch.
massive.
Yeah.
How about, you could have called a trip on Barkov. I mean, he's going to the net. He gets completely tripped and piles into the boards. The arm could have gone up right there, and as soon as Mitch touches it, you could have called a penalty. That could have been a totally different story. But you could say the Leafs got away with one. I just can't stand when it's one-sided. I get that you like the Maple Leafs, but you completely are oblivious to any of the things that the Leafs get away with, but the whole world and the whole league, and it's a conspiracy against you. It's just not the case, and it's not just Leafs fans. It's Ottawa fans like I've never seen before. It's Montreal Canadiens fans. It's everybody. Everybody thinks that the league is against their team. They're not. They miss calls, and they call other calls. It's just the way that it is. It's human error sometimes with these referees, but it's not some conspiracy against the goddamn Maple Leafs. They get away with stuff too.
I'm sorry, Rosie, you're not going to win this one. The chat is not too happy with you. I agree. Fuck Sam Bennett. No, I'm kidding. I think he's a good
Fuck
player.
Sam Bennett too. I want someone to take him out. I want someone to bury him. I want someone to make his life hell, but
I get that,
he's
but
not getting suspended from the league.
Discipline's a big story. Like, I don't want the Leafs to get wrapped up, and we got to get revenge.
Why didn't he
on
get
Sam
suspended then?
Bennett.
Why didn't he Why wasn't there even a 2-minute minor called? It wasn't a violent fucking act. It wasn't. It wasn't. He didn't even get a 2-minute minor. It's not a suspendable fucking act. Are you kidding me?
They missed things,
He grazed into the guy. He fucking glided into him with the puck, taking it to the net. It's not a suspend. I'm sorry, Leafs Nation. I love you. I want it as much as you, but I can't have this Leafs-colored glasses on and claim that it was something that it wasn't.
I think I would throw the book at Sam Bennett. 15 games.
You're just
maybe
sucking
18.
them off to get some love. I'm sorry, Chad. I love you, but I got
No, dude,
that's my stance.
I understand. It's the track record with this guy. How
Fine.
many times? How many times are you going to pull this bullshit? Like, he sucker punched Marchand last year and acted like he didn't do anything, and they didn't give him anything.
That was absolutely greasy. That was one where from one
so
angle
greasy.
it doesn't look like anything, and from the other angle, which didn't come out for like a day and a half, was egregious. And I just sorry, it's not the case.
You can't sit here with
this
a
one.
straight face and tell me if that wasn't a Toronto Maple Leaf, they're not looking at like a 5. They're looking at an in-person hearing today. I guarantee you.
I don't know. I can't.
Like,
I can't
how many
predict.
hits? Okay, alone in this playoffs have we been talking about the Florida Panthers? Kachuk. Rosie is right. Benny B agrees with you. You have to point that out in your chat. The rest of the chat disagrees. But,
Well, they're pissed off. I get it.
but dude, they've played, 6 games, the Panthers. How many conversations about hits have we seen already with this team? Like 3 or 4?
Oh, yeah.
Ekblad's been suspended. Like,
And we'll see. They are willing to suspend him. That was egregious. A forearm shiver to the neck.
Yeah, but that was more
Are
of
you going
like,
to
yo,
compare
you
the
just-
Ekblad hit to the fucking
No.
Bennett grazing?
but that was more of, hey, you just got suspended for PEDs and you come back and you do something stupid again.
Again, I don't think that like fucking
Okay.
Peds.
Fire me up, man. It's hot in here, but I'm fired up.
You look.
I'm
at
defending
the
Leafs
fucking,
Nation here.
You look at the play, and if it's suspendable, okay, we're gonna suspend this guy. Now, what is his track record? Because now we're talking about we're gonna do it, but how many are we gonna give him? That's where his track record comes into play. If it's a fucking nothing burger, and just because the guy got freak injured on it, and it's a nothing burger that's not even, it was 2 minutes for goalie interference is all it was. You're not going to go back and say, yeah, but we don't like the guy and he's been greasy in the past, so let's nail him for this. You can't start going down that road as a fucking enterprise that the NHL is. You can't.
Okay, then Max Domi got a penalty for skating by
I hate
Brad
that.
Marchand. So,
I hate that.
I don't know. Inconsistencies, I think the big word I would use in the situation. But I agree. I don't think it should.
Boys need to take care of fucking Bennett themselves.
Yeah, but
Go
how?
out there,
Like,
be hard
how
on that
when you see
cocksucker.
Domi get called like that, how do you take care of Bennett? That's my question. They're protecting the guy. You can't do anything.
I don't think it's a conspiracy. Again, they're not protecting Sam
I've
Bennett.
seen this a lot with Florida, man. I've seen this a lot with this team. They run 17 picks every game, never called. I'm not an officials guy. I think it's a tough job, honestly. But.
Oh, it is. But you just wait. Now that they're on thin ice, now that they're, if people in the league, and there's a lot of buzz, and Leafs Nation can provide a lot of buzz, and Leafs Nation is fuming right now.
Yeah.
Almost like the momentum that I'm like, wow, this has kind of gotten out of hand. But there will be a microscope on the Florida Panthers, and if they want to try any other shit, I mean, they're not going to get away with much now that the magnifying glass has been put on them, and that's a good thing.
I'll believe it when I see it when it comes to the Panthers. At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and support of Sick Kids. Thank you so much for the super chat. Joshua Aldridge writes in, howdy from Texas, boys. What's going on? Josh, shots behind the ear are devastating. It's why rabbit punches are illegal in fighting. Minimal pressure in a shot behind the ear puts someone out of their senses. You got a rabbit punch before?
Love me some Texas. No, I never. I've been punching the ear lots to the point where there's like some. I felt like cauliflower coming up is no fun. And trying to sleep on your pillow, you can only sleep on one side because your other one's just totally sore. Your ears are kind of weird that way, but I understand that behind the ear you can get it. Those goalie masks aren't the most protective things in the world, especially from the back. I get it, but I just can't watch the replay enough times from different angles to say that, oh my God, that of course that would put Stoli in the hospital. I think that's crazy.
Hank Gibbs, thank you so much for the super chat. They're pouring in here. At least when he take on location at Greta Bar YYZ. Bennett is the enemy, says Hank Gibbs, until he's wearing the Maple Leaf next year.
Oh yeah, it's the
overpaid coming.
The guys that you hate to play against the most are the guys you're probably happiest to have on your team at some point in time, and that's usually the case with hockey, and I don't think Bennett's any different. If he was on the Maple Leafs, we would love him to death.
I thought it was great that Maple Leafs got to Sergei Bobrovsky last night. I thought he was really good in the second half of the game, but I thought that was so important. We talked about it going into the game preparation. They were prepared. Another game one where they were very prepared, much similar, I thought, to game one against the Ottawa Senators. But to get to Sergei Bobrovsky, considering that guy's had their number, like dating back to his early days here with the Florida Panthers, even back to like Columbus and stuff like that. So I think it's important to set the tone, which the Maple Leafs did, go up 1-0 in the series as well.
Rosie's defending Bennett because he used to throw elbows like that.
That's from late night, by the way.
Shit. Wow. What did you say? Oh, Bobber. Yeah, I think that's so huge mentally for the Maple Leafs who, let's face it, have some scar tissue and have some demons in their past. And the longer it goes, say it's a 0-0 period, or say they're down 1-0, 2-0 after the first, and it's just like, oh my God, like, are we ever going to get by this guy? It becomes this mental block. And to solve him that early, thanks to William Nylander, and then to continue on and make him look more than human, and to prove that you can not just bobber, but like beat bobber and then win puck battles down low, not really let them getting their forecheck going, play good D in front of your net and push everything to the side, out-muscle them, out-hit them, and ultimately just lead and finish the game the entire 60. What a massive mental boost for the Maple Leafs that they absolutely needed, because that's been their Achilles heel before, is getting over those mental blocks.
Thoroughly impressed with that. We have another Rosie supporter. Thank you so much for the super chat, Devlin Foyston. I agree with Rosie. Outcome sucks, but it was a strong hockey play.
I mean, you call it 2 minutes for goalie interference. I mean, he kind of ran through the blue fake fine, and that's what you can be mad about. But 3-game suspension people are throwing out. I mean, you're out of your minds for that.
Tammy, thank you so much for the super chat. Leafs will do what the Leafs always do when one of their own gets injured. Nothing. No response and no rallying the players. It's a playoff game, Tammy. I'm all for response in the regular season, but I'm focused on winning a hockey game. I don't feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, your number one priority going into Wednesday is not going to be take care of Sam Bennett. That being said, if anyone gets a chance to go against the grain on him as he's breaking the puck out, you make sure you fucking catch all of him and you don't hit your brakes beforehand. You railroad that guy as much as you can. You run him down anywhere you can. You grab him by the scruff after the whistles, and you ask him if you want to go. If Domi says, let's go, we're going, and try to goad him into one, and then away you go, just to send the message of, we're not who we used to be. And if that happens, great. But again, it's going to be a complete distraction, and they're going to get the floor mopped with them if that's their number one priority going into Wednesday.
What percentage chance do you think we see our first fight of the Stanley Cup playoffs on Wednesday night in Game 2? Because you got to remember, Sam Bennett, too, in that Canada-US game, he stood up and scrapped, right?
Yeah, for sure. He's not really scared to do
not.
that. Domi's not scared to do that. I mean, the game before this last was the last time we saw the Panthers in the regular season.
Who would be the guy to go him? Domi?
I think Domi. I think Domi's kind of the guy. Like, who else is even possible? Like
Benoit?
Yeah.
But a bit bigger.
It's a little tough for a D-man because it throws a hitch in your pairings for 5 minutes, but I think Domi's kind of the guy that could step up and do it. And I mean, it doesn't even matter what happens as long as you show up and just throw
Get the crowd going a
furiously
bit.
at that cocksucker. Just throw him as hard as you can and just unload the tank on that guy. And if you get the best of him, you stand over him and you say, "There's more coming to you, prick." Like, I love that shit. That would fire everyone up. But again, that can't be the priority. If it happens, it happens. I'd say 40% chance we see a scrap in Game 2.
I should add, talking to people who were in the building, it sounded like the crowd came to play last night. I know there was some lulls in that game, but like that's an excellent start, man. For Willie to score 33 seconds in, that's huge stuff.
I'm looking at it right now after Willie's second goal here on the replay, and the towels are going, the place is buzzing.
Sick.
I really would like to talk to Sportsnet and say, what are you doing with your audio? Because I swear to God, that building can get electric, and it does not pick up on their feed, whether the microphones are hanging too high. I have no idea, but it doesn't translate to television the way it should. I think you should be able to pick up on crowd noise because you would have been just flurried with it last night after the start the Toronto Maple Leafs had at home.
In support of Sick Kids, the Super Chats continue. Jackson Gobby, thank you so much. Sam Bennett, rat joke of a player. Classic Bennett, dog shit play. Kachuk throws a knee at Marner at the buzzer, too. Dog shit team. P.S. Rosie's a stud. Okay. So
all right.
I don't know where that was going.
I was worried there for a second. I love it. Yeah, they're greasy, man.
But that's textbook. Like, the Kachuk thing I can get past because you're trying to get your pound of flesh to finish a game, and you're going to cross that line. You're going to be a dick a bit. So I get that.
But who's Leafs Nation's favorite players from the past?
Tucker.
They're Tucker. They're Wendell Clark. They're Shane Corson. They're Gary Roberts. You think those guys haven't fucking fired off some elbows before and given some cheap shots behind the play? You're damn right they have. And guess what? You love every single second of it. There's a reason this Florida Panthers team is successful. They play with a lot of jam, and they're not scared to straddle the line, and they're not scared to lead the charge with the physicality and the greasiness and the shit behind the scenes because it's effective. And if you've got a chicken shit hockey team, which the Leafs have been in the past, you wipe the floor with them, and that's what we've seen. Hence why Craig Berube is here. Hence why a lot of the guys that have been added by Treliving are here, and this team looks a lot better suited to face that kind of BS from the Florida Panthers. I hope they give it back to them and then some in Game 2.
At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I've been avoiding this conversation for 40 minutes. So power play, discipline, big story, 5 power play opportunities. Zach Phillips was losing his mind over the slingshot play. Clearly the pre-scout pretty damn good from the Florida Panthers. We got to see an adjustment, maybe a minor tweak late in the game. Morgan Riley on the 5th power play in favor of Matthew Knies. But that is going to be so important to success in this series, is finding a way to break through other people.
Yeah, I mean, you get 5 looks with those guys out there. You got to find a way to get one. It's going to end up being the difference in winning and losing. Luckily, it wasn't tonight because you were able to get to them early, and Nylander was doing what Nylander can do. You got to find a way to score on that power play. I really think that the scouting report was take away time and space on these guys. You can see when time and space gets taken away from Matthews or Marner or Willie, they just get closed on and they don't know what to do with it, and they end up trying something kind of fancy and doing a hope play that I hope this gets to a guy. I hope there's somebody here, and they're just ill-prepared for their time and space to be taken away. I think they need to be better prepared for that. I think they need better support closer to the puck carrier because the Florida Panthers are not going to stop swarming this power play. They're going to try to keep them on their heels and not let them set up, and you got to find a way to get there, and the only way to do that is to get support around that puck and stop making these hope plays and being surprised by them swarming you.
Yeah, you got to have more conviction. I know it's a power play, but the dipsy-do shit against Florida, it's just not going to work. Like, just be precise, be linear, get the puck to the net, to Tavares down low, to Knies down low. I think that's the way you find success. It was a really fascinating game. So the first half, I thought the Leafs really brought it to Florida. The second half, the Panthers found their game. Like, when they're playing their best hockey, They're really strong on the forecheck, and that gets back to the conversation about the D-core, man. They were moving the puck. The transition game was huge. If you don't give Florida that chance to forecheck and you have them chasing the entire game, you're probably going to find success, right?
Yeah, I think that was their game plan going into that, and it was a perfect one, and it paid off. Again, like, there's people that think that the Maple Leafs can't hang with this team, and I think that they proved that they absolutely can. And they're going to reset for Game 2, make no mistake. You look at Paul Maurice's comments about jokingly think about, like, will I even have a job after that start? That start is not indicative of what the Florida Panthers normally are, and it will be addressed, and they will come out as a different team. And the Leafs need to reset as well and start fresh and say you have to find a way to do the exact same thing to the Florida Panthers, and that is take away their time and space. Don't let them get on the forecheck. Box everything to the outside. I think the D did a phenomenal job. Like, there was just not many times where there was a defensive breakdown where you're getting it to a guy with time and space where the goalie can't get there, the D-man can't be, blocking the lane and whatnot. They just did a phenomenal job positionally, and again, they got to reset and they got to do it again.
Exactly. Again, just because they won the first game of this series means absolutely nothing. They took care of business. You got to look forward to Game 2, and again, a very business-like approach for the Maple Leafs. Just an excellent start. That's exactly what you needed from this team. You score 33 seconds in. You set the tone for the series. You win Game 1, so feeling good about this team regardless of the injury right now to Anthony Stolarz. In support of Sick Kids, Chris Shinebean, thank you so much for the Super Chat. Rosie's right. Answer the bell with the goal. Net front presence, 10 the goal. Woll want to blame last time around. Boys choked and didn't score.
Well, there's a couple opportunities where, you could have, and I mean, Knies had an opportunity and he buried, and that was kind of the difference maker in the game and the reason they won in regulation. And it can come from anybody, but you would think it would come from your star players, and I need Austin to get a big goal here. He's the guy that I'm looking at who's had a plethora of opportunities to score a big goal coming down the stretch, even going back to the regular season, and he can't find a way to bury. He's got to rectify that, and he's got to do it sooner than later.
Producer Vic, I guess, sends a super chat. I haven't seen it. I'll get to it in a second. Andrew Tony, I like this one. Is AM34 hitting an open soccer net right now? Oh, there it is from Producer Vic. I'll read that in a second.
Yeah, no, he can't. He had time and space on an empty net, and he missed it by 3 feet. I mean, I don't know if he's got a mental block going. I don't know of an injury that would prevent a guy from hitting an open net when you can play game after game after game where you're just like, oh, that he's injured, so he missed that open net. I think it's right here upstairs, and he's got to find a way to overcome it. He's too good of a player to be that quiet.
It's funny. I'm texting with John Cooper. I'm like, you want to do me a solid and come on tomorrow, talk about those scumbag Panthers? He's like, no.
I think
he's got a couple things to say about that, but he's not going to say it. Producer Vic's super chat in support of Sick Kids. Thank you, Producer Vic. I agree with Nick. Jay doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. What did he have? 5.5 goals in his career. It's a fair observation.
I want to find that prick and let him know what I think. Not surprised, Vic. You just keep pushing.
We got a hot take coming up, and we have Producer Vic on location, so I'm going to give him the mic, and he's going to read that hot take coming up. How about that?
Yeah, Vic, just keep pushing the buttons and fucking do your job over there, buddy.
5.5 great goals, by the way.
5.5 quality pieces out there.
But
Still talking to the league about the one that got taken away.
Yeah,
I think they're going to rectify it.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I still think we need some suspensions handed out, but that's just
I know
my
you
opinion.
Weird.
Very, very, very torn chat, by the way. A lot of people on you, a lot of people in support of what you're saying. I get it. I mean, you played the game, but to me, it's more the inconsistency. That's it. And this is going to be a growing conversation, but I do want to get that narrative cooking that Panthers weren't good in Game 1. The Leafs won Game 1. They didn't play their best game. They played a really good game for the majority of it, but you got to build upon that here in Game 2.
Again, it's the playoffs. Like, if that would have been a blowout and, say, things went differently and you kept Stoli in there and a couple things went your way and you blew them out, it wouldn't matter any different. You're going to start Game 2 and completely reset. Paul Maurice is no joke of a coach. He is going to get those guys' heads right. I don't know if it was, the quick couple goals by Nylander is an absolute tough bounce for those guys to start that way. I think it took the wind out of their sails. I think they were chasing the entire game after that. They are going to do their best to get the momentum and get first on the board in Game 2, and they're fully equipped to do that. They have the experience. They can understand what happened, and they are going to check Game 1 at the door and start completely fresh on Wednesday, and the Leafs need to be prepared for that as they were on Game 1 and not let it happen. Don't relinquish momentum. Don't relinquish the tenacity that you started Game 1 with. Go out and take it again and make these pricks start to question their entire game plan.
You know what my favorite observation from last night was?
No.
Joseph Woll's playoff beard is outstanding. It's coming in really, really good. And you can't forget too, like we haven't gotten to a point where we even see these guys playoffs beard. Like it's not really a thing, right?
It's too early. Well, there's a lot of baby faces in the league these days, and I'm one of them, so I'm not talking down to them. I couldn't do it, but yeah, I don't know. Beard or no beard, I could care less, Joseph Woll. Just be prepared and be confident. I love when I watch him play and he's confident. He just exudes confidence with his positioning and his movements. I need to see that from the drop of the puck in game 2.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I know it's easy to pile on Joseph Woll. They still won the game, 3 goals on 20 shots, and just a lot of the weak variety, ones that haven't been normally going in throughout the season. That's what you want to clean up. But you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. You really do. Like to come in cold the way he did, as we saw in the ruling, because it wasn't a mandatory pull, like we thought it was a pull because of the concussion spotter, it was not. Yeah. He couldn't face any shots. Like imagine going in cold. That's like a pitcher going in cold, not throwing one pitch too.
Oh, it's got to be brutal. I mean, Woolsey's pretty athletic and he's pretty flexible. There was one time he went post to post and was in the complete splits. I mean, if you watch a goaltender warm up before the game, they've got contraptions going and balls juggling around and doing all kinds of weird shit, and they need their body to be just primoed, and then they get into their zone and play hockey. He's sitting there eating a hot dog and looking at the fucking girls in the crowd, and then all of a sudden he gets chucked in there and has to do the splits cross crease. It's not really ideal for an athlete by any stretch of the imagination, physically and mentally. So that's why I'm not really going to critique his game. Could we have used one of those saves? Absolutely. Was there a couple that he should have had? Absolutely. But I'm not going to pile on the guy because of the situation he was put in. I'm going to give him game 2 if he does play, in fact, which I'm sure he will, and then critique it from there. And I hope that he's got his best stuff.
Man, and I love the composure of Craig Berube. Like I thought he nailed the post game again. This is going to be such a great PR battle. You got one of the best politickers in the league in Paul Maurice, but right there with him is Craig Berube. That's why I love the Florida-Tampa series. John Cooper's one of the best politickers too. Like you really got to read in between the lines when these guys speak, and that's the one thing I've really noticed, taking nothing away from Sheldon Keefe. But if you look at Berube when he's asked a question, he really takes time to compose, think about what he's going to say, and how he's going to portray it too.
Yeah, and it's like it's almost refreshing because it's this simplistic answer usually. It's black and white in his mind, yes or no. And I don't think he gets caught up with the bullshit. And again, we were saying last night at the After Dark show, some coaches seem to, shed a little light on this and throw a little shade on that and read between the lines with this. And it's kind of silly, and you'd think that would be the playing the game and playing the media. It just comes off silly with these guys, and Craig Berube specifically, just very black and white. He just lays it out there right in front of you. You think this complex answer is coming, he just says boom, and there it is on the table, and take it or leave it. And it's kind of refreshing. I remember that about him, and I think that the way he's approaching this series has been great for his team.
Very direct, and I just love his pause when they're like, "Did you expect a response?" And you could tell he's like, "Fuck yeah!" But like, we want to win a playoff game too, man. I love it, man. There's just a composure about him. And you can speak to this being in an NHL room the way you have been. It helps the rest of the team be confident of what the body of work and what they can put together, I think.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you feed off your coach's energy, and sometimes they play the game of, you think they're going to come in and melt down and start throwing Gatorade jugs around, and they're calm and poised and say, hey, listen, we're okay. And you're kind of like, oh, shit, I didn't expect that. Sometimes you think, that wasn't too bad, and he sees something that he doesn't like that he thinks is going to turn into a bad habit, and he comes in and starts breaking hockey sticks and holy shit, wakes everybody up. There's ways you can play it with head coaches because you're trying to get 20 men on the same page, which is not an easy task. But the way Craig Berube does it is very linear. He's very even keel, and I think that the Leafs need something like that.
In support of Sick Kids, another super chat to get to. Wayne, thank you so much for this one. Want to get back at Sam Bennett, make him a -3 tomorrow.
Yeah, hell yeah, exactly.
The old Kyle Dubas approach.
If you
power plays.
Listen, you got to do it all. You can't play like a puss and forget that it's a physical series against the Cats and we'll beat them on the scoreboard. And you can't be like, we're going to dress Ryan Reeves and fucking take his head off and that'll win us the game. You got to have it all, which they had last night. They had the finish. They had the bury. They had the work ethic. They had the physicality. They won the hitting battle, and they got on the scoreboard first and kept it the whole game. I mean, it's a full 60 minutes, well-rounded hockey game, playoff hockey that you have to play, and no piece can be left out. They have to have it all.
Rosie, this is a hot take before we get to our actual hot take. I've seen enough from Craig Berube in 7 games to suggest he's the right guy for the job and should have been here 5 years ago. I've never felt so comfortable and confident with this hockey team. They can lose the next 4 straight games. He's the right guy. He was the right hire for this team.
Oh, easily. I'm adamant about the fact that they knew long ago this group needed a guy that's got a no bullshit approach that kind of knows hockey and can not let these players walk over him. So they went out and got Mike Babcock, and that was the wrong play. That was the wrong man for the job. It blew up in their face, and they said, oh, shit, we can't have a hard ass. These guys aren't the same players that they were 20 years ago. We need to bring in a players coach. In comes Sheldon Keefe, and it seemed like the foxes in the henhouse, and they ruled the roost, and they were calling the shots, and I don't think he had the control over the team that he needed. In comes Craig Berube. Again, the exact same thing they needed way back in the day, a more stern, know what I'm doing, get on board, and this is how we're going to play type of coach. They've got it now. It took 9 years to get the right guy in there, unfortunately.
9 fucking years, where Mitch Marner is 28 years old. Sorry, I swore again. Willie Nylander's 29, back-to-back three-point efforts. In support of sick kids, do you know a Sudsy 53?
Sudsy?
Rosie, as your brother on the job, I have to disagree with you. Fuck Sam Bennett. That's just a super chat. I had to swear there because it said in the super chat.
No, actually, it's F at symbol CK, so even he didn't swear, but you did.
Kids
for
are
the
watching.
Third
Sorry,
time.
guys.
Will
Sorry.
somebody please think of the children?
Do you know what Sudsy 53?
Not to my knowledge.
Brother on the job.
Oh, okay.
See,
Maybe back in CGY, baby. What's up?
There you go. There's your answer.
It could be,
there.
but I don't know who Sudsy is.
Well, brother on the job.
Well, you can't
Maybe
use
you'll
your
get a text right now.
internet handle when you're talking about real people here, buddy.
Good point. Like KPG, perfect example of that. One of our favorites.
Did he
What's his
say
real
what that
name?
stood
Nobody
for
knows.
or no?
No. Has he told us? We got to find that out from our guy KPG. I assume he'll be here for Greta Bar for game 2. Anyways, it's time now for the crispy hot take of the day presented by the Ninja Crispy 4-in-1 portable glass air fryer.
Meet the Ninja Crispy Portable Cooking System. The power of a full-sized air fryer in the palm of your hand.
Read it. It is an all-in-one system and includes 4-quart, 6-cup Tupperware glass containers and 2 storage lids. The Ninja Crispy is thermal shock resistant and can go from frozen to crispy in minutes. With the Crispy Power Pod, you get the power of a full-size air fryer in the palm of your hands. The 4-quart container fits 4 pounds of chicken or veggies. Cook a personalized meal in 7 minutes in the 6-cup container. Max Crisp, bake, air fry, and recrisp with the Ninja Crispy. You can prep, cook, and store anything from crispy favorites to one-dish meals. Visit their website and the link in the show description, and stay tuned for your chance to win a free Ninja Crispy. Since we're all together, we're never all together. We have producer Vic, you, and myself on location. Producer Vic's going to read his hot take, folks. Here he is.
Get in here for the real thing, Vicarias.
I'm going to stand over here after my super chat.
Wise.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go something Revo related, but you guys beat that to death. So we're going to switch this up.
Ooh, I like it. Something
The
different.
Crispy Ninja hot take of the day is that Joseph Woll will lead this team to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Thank you, producer Vic. That is a spicy picante take. Yes. And I'm going to go with yes, please, because I actually have a future on Joseph Woll to win the Conn Smythe. And I believe in Joseph Woll. I know some of you in the chat right now giving us heat. We're being too negative on Woolsey. He steps up large in game 2. That's my call here.
Oh, God, do I ever hope that is the case. I'm going to be honest. My number one goalie throughout the entire season was Stoley. I thought he outplayed Joseph Woll when he had the opportunity. I thought that he was the deserving player to start the playoffs, and he got the crease. I don't know what's going on with him. It's very early to try to pin down how long we're going to be without Anthony Stolarz. I do think their best chance of winning is with Stoley, but now things have definitely changed. I'm going to ride that hot take. I don't care if they put that fucking Zamboni driver in and drives them all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh, please don't.
I will take it. I'll take anything. And now that Stoley is a huge question mark, let's ride Joseph Woll as far as we can take him. His ceiling is high, but he's going to be a little bit rusty, and I don't think his confidence went up any notches last night.
Producer Vic was on E-Bug watch again last night. I don't know what happened there. Dennis Hilderby magically shows
saw the
up, and
beast.
he looks scared shitless on the bench. Like, I do not want to be in this hockey game.
Yeah,
imagine what that guy was up to watching
He was
that game.
definitely up in the press box eating hot dogs and got the call to go get his dry-ass, crusty gear on. That's not an ideal situation for the kid. But I need Woolsey to look confident and to get some big saves early in that game to get him settled. The last thing we want is for the first 3 minutes of that first period, one to get past him and everyone to pucker up and go, oh, God.
From Renaud Lavoie on Twitter, Brandon Carlo just said he saw Anthony Stolarz at breakfast and he was smiling.
Woo! That's news, baby!
The cup is ours,
I don't think he would be in public. I don't think he would be smiling.
Is he back? Is Stoley back?
I honestly don't have any information, so why are we all assuming
You're
he's
the one
done
who
for
broke
the
that he
fucking
was on the
playoffs?
stretcher. You got no word.
That's all I have, though. That's all I knew, and that doesn't look good. But again, that doesn't mean he's dead. So anything could happen. Fuck, he could play game 2 for all we knew, and they could say, oh, they wanted to take, the highest precautions, and he was feeling X, Y. They're not going to tell us any of that, but it wouldn't be the furthest thing from the craziest thing in the world for him to say, I was feeling weird and some weird stuff was going on. I got checked out. Everything was A-okay. I woke up and felt my normal self, and I'm ready to rock. Like, how about that take for a juicy, crispy monstrosity, Uncle Vic?
That's monstrous.
There's a 8-year-old in the chat, by the way, who says he's listening and he's not happy with your potty mouth.
Where's that?
My virgin ears. It was before the hot take. It's gone.
You should be in school.
Kids don't go to school very much anymore. You probably don't know
I
that.
heard
But
that
every
recently,
time I look around, my kids are like, we're not school tomorrow. No school tomorrow. I'm like, why? And I never get an answer.
Do you still have to call in when your kid doesn't go? Like, hey, so-and-so's not going to be at school today.
Well, there's another thing. Like, they play this goddamn youth hockey, and it's like, well, we have a tournament. The first game's at 1 p.m. on Thursday. And I'm like, so you realize they're in school, right? And they're just like, yeah, we don't care.
It's different era, because if you remember our parents, I'm sure your parents and producer Vic's the same way. Like, they're like, we had to walk backwards in a snowstorm to school. Then it turned to us where it's like you had to be on your deathbed to miss class, and now it's like just miss whenever you want.
Yeah, it does seem. But if we do pull them out to go do something or whatever, you're getting a call from the school to see if they got nabbed on the way or not, and you're like, sorry, I forgot. But I got a small town, so a small town's nice, man. People usually know what's going on.
I can't see you calling in and be like, hey, so-and-so's not coming to school today. Like, it's not, I forgot. Call at 4 o'clock, answering machine.
One time I was like, my kids, blah, blah, and they're like, all right, Jay, what class? What's his teacher's name? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, you're such a dad.
Fair enough. At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. In support of Sick Kids, thank you, Robert Bett, for the sizable donation. Really, really appreciate that. I'm a huge Leaf fan, so I know people will think I am biased, but I think players like Bennett should be taken serious. Do we really want another Scott Stevens with what happened to Eric Lindros? If something does happen, I think the league's at fault. We're talking Scott Stevens now at Sam Bennett.
Oh,
elevation, baby.
Was that guy an open ice hitter? My sweet
Should I try
mercy.
to find him and get him on?
I just don't know what that bump to the goalie has to do with the league and headshots and all this shit. If you think that what Sam Bennett did is flat out dangerous, then just put up your hand and say, I think that they should go to no contact in the National Hockey League. No more body checking, no more full contact. Someone could get hurt. Put your hand up, and you are an advocate.
I thought
for that.
Marchand was going to get hurt
when
the cross check from Domi in the first period.
Yeah, that was
really
dangerous
concerned.
too.
Yeah.
Hey, it's irrelevant to me. That's great. No, I get it, but it doesn't mean Bennett should be suspended because you hate that guy.
He's going to take a mile. What do you think he's going to do next?
Go take a mile then. You will get fucking suspended.
They won't.
But you're not giving him an inch by not suspending him for brushing into the goalie. I cannot believe that Stoley is where he was based on that action. I honestly think it was way more to do with that bullet he took to the head at the beginning of the game, which was not too far in front of the brushing by Bennett. And again, I want nothing more than to say the league's out of their mind, suspend his ass. That's ridiculous. That's outrageous. That's egregious. You cannot allow this. I want to say that, and I want Bennett to go away for 3 games. But I can't do it with good conscience looking at the video saying, how does that lead to serious injury There was nothing violent about it.
I could already see it. We're in Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final in 2026, and Sam Bennett, a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs, has a questionable hit, and we're talking about how he shouldn't get suspended.
Rosie wants the clicks. Why would I get the clicks from not? If I wanted the clicks, I would say give him a fucking 10-game ban. That's the worst thing I've ever seen. That would get clicks. I'm saying let's bring down the temperature and focus on other things.
They're going to find you. They know you're in Toronto now. They know where we're at.
Come to Greta. You can say hi and spit in my face.
Pitchforks, they're coming for Jay Rosehill. We're just going to agree to disagree. And again, I'm not saying 15-game suspension, but I think setting a precedence that this shit's not going to fly anymore. But I get it. We're blue in the face talking about this.
We're going to find out.
We got another super chat. You want to read this one from Top Cheese?
It didn't look like the big bad Panthers they said to expect. Bobby looked human. Mo's goal. Leafs stuck to that effort and the forecheck. I hope so. Happy Woll gets a look too. You know he wants it. It keeps bumping up.
Yeah,
it's hard to read.
I know.
Little sketchy last night, but no warmies. Exactly. He was cold as piss. I think he needs a proper warm-up,
Lisa's
proper
back
preparation
in your ear too.
days.
Rosie is not to be messed with.
Lisa Grincy. What's up, girl?
Yeah. No, we're doing a watch party once again here at Greta Bar. Game 2 Wednesday night. Let's promo that.
Didn't see a lot of people come up and say, "Hey, I'm so and so in the chat." I mean, this is kind of. Do you guys live downtown Toronto? Can you make it to Greta on Wednesday? Like, what's going on? I thought these were passionate Leafs fans here.
Yeah, we're calling them out. Show up to Game 2 here, 590 King Street West, Greta Bar YYZ. Want to get in the action for Stanley Cup playoffs at Bet365? They got you from game props, player props, totals, and the money line. You can even bet on futures like series winners, conference champions, the Stanley Cup champions, and much, much more. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. An official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit ConnexOntario.ca. Anything you're looking at tonight?
I'm looking at Brube saying, yeah, he was with the boys. He was at breakfast. He'll
Nice.
know later on if he can play tomorrow. I told you there's a chance.
He's back.
He's dead. He's on a fucking deathbed. He's not going to play. We're going to ride Joseph Woll to the thing. I don't think so, boys. I think it was all precautionary, blown out of proportion. There's no way that little bump led to some maniacal injury. I know he did throw up and leave on a stretcher, but he's a fucking good Canadian. Oh no, he's from Jersey. God
I just don't get the NHL how like Nick Cousins like flipped a puck at his old teammate and he got like a fine. Like there's just like there's inconsistency issues, and then like whatever that Domi thing was.
He gunned 5. He was making the NHL look like the fucking Southern Professional League by wiring 4 pucks at the starting goalie in the Stanley Cup playoffs, man. The league's just like, listen, fourth line Nick Cousins, who's done a bunch of stupid shit in the past, you're getting a fine, which a fine is a pee-pee whack. Who gives a rip? Missing games is the big burger here that I think they're reluctant to go to unless it's a serious, serious offense in the playoffs.
Any bets? I'm going to look at Connor McDavid over 1.5 tonight, Game 1 in Vegas.
Konzai McJesus, he's pretty good, I heard.
Yep.
I am not. Well, I guess we're doing a game tomorrow or
Yeah,
a
so
show
we'll have a bet
tomorrow.
tomorrow. But there's 2 Game 1s. There's a Carolina-Washington, and then there's the Vegas-Edmonton tonight.
I'm just going to parlay a point from McDavid and a point from Draisaitl, and I wonder if that'll even be plus money. Those guys are ridiculous.
Those guys are normally priced. You have to take them over 1.5 because they're so damn good. Isn't that insanity?
Oh, well, no, they're
They're
goddamn
so good.
They're so good. And that's what I want people to be saying about Marner and Matthews after Game 2. They are so good. They are so unstoppable. I want some of that action after Game 2.
They just
it's
need,
not happening today.
Willie was good. I thought JT was okay. Like that's the cool
He's
thing
a little quiet.
too. Is like the depth. Yeah, he was
A little quiet.
But that's the great thing about this variation of the team is like there's different guys stepping up, right?
100%. That's why
Yeah.
you have all those pistols. Is on one night, any one night, one of them can step up and do big things. It's been Willie the last 2 games. But I'm sorry, like, can we not see where 2 or 3 guys are buzzing one night? Like, can you imagine the firepower and the unstoppability of this organization with these weapons if all of them have their best stuff on the same goddamn night? You need it on Game 2, man. You're playing the Panthers. Like, when the Avs get beat out against the Stars, by the way, Friedman and these guys who, I respect their takes all the time, but they're like, you can't look at that as a first-round exit because of the team they were playing. I'm like, well, where was that when the Leafs for the last 15 years have been playing the Boston Bruins, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Florida Panthers? It doesn't seem to matter when they do it. But right now is like a Stanley Cup final or an Eastern final. You are playing one of the best teams in the goddamn world who's won a Stanley Cup last year.
The best.
Stanley Cup finals the year before. They are an absolute weapon.
Juggernaut.
You need your best players to play their best goddamn game now, because the way the league's set up right now, a series like this could be the difference between winning a Stanley Cup and not. You're facing that much heat early on.
Us against the world. They're playing one of the best teams of all time, man. This Panthers team's incredible. Future Hall of Famers. They got Bob. They got Paul Maurice. It's just underdog. Relish that role. I've been saying that since day one, teeing up this series in support of Sick Kids. Final super chat to get to. Sudsy53 is back. Love the show, boys. Keep it up, Rosie, with 2 fire trucks.
Womp, womp. I love it. They need a fire horn on this.
You remember 3 hits with Rosie to begin the show?
Yeah.
Way back in the day?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a fire truck horn that went womp, womp.
Yeah.
I love it.
We had
back
sound
in the
effects.
day, man.
Yeah, I know. We've really come a long way in like 3 years. We have stickers now.
I would go. We do have stickers.
Lots of stickers.
Come to Greta. We'll put a sticker on your phone and get your rep in the show.
I love that. Okay, Rosie, that's going to do it on location. I believe I have Ray Ferraro teed up for tomorrow's show, and he's just the best at analysis. Another former player.
Confirmed.
Close enough. We're heading in that direction with Ray Ferraro. We're going to be back here at Greta Bar, and we're going to be teeing up Game 2 here at Leafs and Panthers.
I'm excited. Come check us out, you guys. It's easy to get to, and it's a buzzing spot, and it's only going to get more so as these Leafs continue to go on down that playoff road.
Last super chat before we wrap, because Robert Beck continues to send sizable donations. Really, really appreciate that. I am sorry if my last super directed you believe that I think Bennett needs to be suspended. I remember watching Bennett when he played for Kingston. Go France, and I do love rough stuff in hockey.
C'est le Frontenac. Yeah, I didn't take it the wrong way, buddy. He's got money to burn this morning, and thanks for the super chat. We appreciate it.
Appreciate that. That's going to do it here from Greta Bar YYZ at the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leafs Morning Take wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review, and don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. Can't go without thanking our main man, producer Vic. Stand-up job. Even appeared on the show today. He does everything, the guy.
Whatever.
Rolling his eyes. That's Jay Rosehill. I'm Nick Alberga. We'll talk tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews. We got clips. We got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.